Please do not write on this test. Use your Scantron to fill in the best answer to the questions presented to you. You have all class period to answer this 50 multiple choice question exam. For questions 1 through 3, use the map below. Number 1. Between which two bodies of water can you find Mesopotamia? A. Asia Minor and Mediterranean Sea. B. Euphrates River and Persian Gulf. Or C. Tigris River and Euphrates River. Question 2. What is the area of rich farmland called in this region? A. Sumerian Crescent. B. The Fertile Crescent. Or D. Asia Minor. Question 3. For what reason did the earliest peoples settle in this region? A. The rivers provided rich silt deposits that made farming easy. C. The seas were ideal for establishing trade routes. Or D. The mountains provided cave shelters for people. Question 4. Which sequence of events shows how Mesopotamia developed? A. People formed divisions of labor. Population grew. Agriculture was basis of society. B. People built cities. People grew crops. People built canals. Or D. People settled where crops would grow. The population grew. Villages and cities formed. Question 5. People came to work as craftsmen because of A. Cattle and sheep herding. B. Division of labor. Or C. Rules set up by the government. Question 6. Which is the best explanation for why people in Mesopotamia built canals? A. They needed a way to control the river's flow. B. They needed a new job for people to do. Or D. They needed a way to control the surplus. Question 7. Which statement best represents the development of a civilization? A. People rely on hunting and gathering because it is the only way to live. B. The development of cities led to inventions like irrigation. Or D. If they have a steady food supply, people can develop a complex society. Question 8. Which is an inference about why city-states fought each other for farmland? A. Each city-state owned crops that had been destroyed by natural causes. C. Each city-state wanted to build walls around its farms. Or D. Each city-state wanted to have enough farmland to grow food. Question 9. Who was the first leader to have a permanent army? A. Kish. B. Sargon. Or C. Gilgamesh. 10. What purpose did the wall around the city serve? A. To protect inhabitants inside the city-state from attack. C. To protect the inhabitants of the city-state from floods. Or D. To keep people from moving to another city-state. Question 11. Who served as a middleman between the Sumerians and their gods? A. Farmers. B. Priests. Or D. Political leaders. Question 12. Scribes had power in Sumerian society. What can you conclude from this statement? A. People who could read and write were important. B. All scribes came from the upper class. Or D. Scribes invented pictographs and cuneiform. 13. Which of the following describes cuneiform? A. A form of writing using picture symbols. B. A form of writing using wedge-shaped symbols. Or D. A form of writing using proverbs and songs. Question 14. Sumerians did all the following while practicing medicine except A. Sumerians recorded their observations when practicing medicine. Sumerians used ziggurats as early hospitals to treat people for option B. Or option D. Sumerians became skilled at using figs, milk, and salt in treating people. Question 15. What was the most likely the reason ziggurats were tall? A. To honor the gods. B. So they could easily be found. Or D. To mark the center of the city. Question 16. What was the main purpose of a cylinder seal? A. To mark property. B. To contain people in their homes. Or C. To encourage people to be involved with art. Question 17. Which of the following was the first group to rule after Hammurabi? A. The Chaldeans. B. The Hittites. Or D. The Assyrians. Question 18. The resource for which Phoenicia was well known was B. Cedar wood. C. Fertile soil, or D. Gold and silver. Question 19. Which people grew more powerful due to trade rather than winning battles? A. The Kassites, C. The Phoenicians, or D. The Assyrians. Question 20. What physical feature led Phoenicians to use the sea for trade? A. Desert, B. Flooding rivers, or D. Mountains to the east and north. 21. What technology did the Hittites and Assyrians use in battle? A. Fire and chariots, C. Iron weapons and chariots, or D. Battleships and iron weapons. 22. What kind of political unit was Carthage? A. A colony, C. A city-state, or D. A monarchy. Question 23. What do Hammurabi and Nebuchadnezzar have in common? A. They both built beautiful palaces, B. They both used chariots in battle, or D. They both built up Babylon. 24. What's the relationship between trade and the spread of the Phoenician alphabet? A. Phoenicians traded knowledge of their alphabet for goods and services they need. C. The Phoenicians' alphabet spread along the trade routes. Or D. Phoenicians would only trade with people that could write in Phoenician. Question 25. Use the map below. 25. What factor may have limited the growth of Sargon's empire? A. The Akkadian army stopped the empire from expanding south. C. The Syrian desert did not have enough good farmland. Or D. Nubia did not have enough water to support its population. For questions 26 through 30, match the vocabulary term from the box above the definitions. 26. The worship of many gods. Is it A. Rule, B. Polytheism, C. Empire, D. City-state, or E. Urban? 27. City areas. Is that A. Rule, B. Polytheism, C. Empire, D. City-state, or E. Urban? 28. Land with different territories under one ruler. Is that A. Rule, B. Polytheism, C. Empire, D. City-state, or E. Urban? Number 29. Countryside. Is that A. Rule, B. Polytheism, C. Empire, D. City-state, or E. Urban? Question 30. A city and the countryside around it. Is that A. Rule, B. Polytheism, C. Empire, D. City-state, or E. Urban? For questions 31 through 35, match the vocabulary term from the box above the definition. 31. The world's first system of writing. A. Cuneiform, B. Surplus, C. Pictographs, D. Alphabet, or E. Ziggurat. 32. A pyramid-shaped temple tower. A. Cuneiform, B. Surplus, C. Pictographs, D. Alphabet, or E. Ziggurat. 33. More than what is needed. A. Cuneiform, B. Surplus, C. Pictographs, D. Alphabet, or E. Ziggurat. 34. System of writing with picture symbols. A. Cuneiform, B. Surplus, C. Pictographs, D. Alphabet, or E. Ziggurat. 35. A set of letters that can be combined to form words. A. Cuneiform, B. Surplus, C. Pictographs, D. Alphabet, or E. Ziggurat. For questions 36 through 40, match the vocabulary term from the box above the definitions. 36. Way of supplying water to areas of land. A. Social hierarchy, B. Irrigation, C. Canals, D. Silt, E. Division of labor. 37. Specialization of jobs. A. Social hierarchy, B. Irrigation, C. Canals, D. Silt, E. Division of labor. 38. A mixture of rich soil and tiny rocks. A. Social hierarchy, B. Irrigation, C. Canals, D. Silt, E. Division of labor. 39. Human-made waterways. A. Social hierarchy, B. Irrigation, C. Canals, D. Silt, E. Division of labor. 40. Division of society by rank or class. A. Social hierarchy, B. Irrigation, C. Canals, D. Silt, or E. Division of labor? 41. Which group of people were at the top of the social pyramid? A. Slaves, B. Kings, D. Farmers and laborers, or E. Scribes, merchants, and traders? Question 42. Which group of people were under the king? A. Slaves, C. Nobles and priests, D. Farmers and laborers, E. Scribes, merchants, and traders. Question 43. Which group of people belonged just above slaves? B. Kings, C. Nobles and priests, D. Farmers and laborers, or E. Scribes, merchants, and traders? For questions 44 through 50, use the passage below to answer the questions. Ancient Mesopotamia, Code of Hammurabi. The first great king of Babylon was King Hammurabi. He conquered all of Mesopotamia and established the first Babylonian Empire. Hammurabi also established a set of laws that today is called the Code of Hammurabi. How do we know about the Code of Hammurabi? The Code of Hammurabi was written down on clay tablets and etched into stone. It is one of the oldest recorded codes of laws in the world. One of the best surviving examples of the code is written on the Dorite stele. The Dorite stele. The Dorite stele is a large stone shaped like a giant finger. It is about 7 feet tall and 2 feet wide. It contained around 4,000 lines of text describing 282 different laws. At the top, or fingertip, of the stele is a carved picture of King Hammurabi being given the laws from the Babylonian sun god Shamash. The Code of Law. The actual Code of Law was divided up into groupings. Many of the laws that had to do with one subject, example slavery, were grouped together. This would have helped people to find and read just the laws that pertain to them. Here are some of the major sections of the code. Prologue, legal procedures, household laws, slavery, trade and business, religion, and epilogue. The prologue introduced the code. The prologue describes how the god Shamash gave the laws to Hammurabi. Here is an excerpt from the prologue. Bring about the rule of righteousness in the land, to destroy the wicked and the evildoers, so that the strong should not harm the weak, so that I should rule and enlighten the land, to further the well-being of mankind. In the epilogue, Hammurabi restates his desire for justice for all, saying, Let the oppressed man come and stand before my image as a king of righteousness. Let him understand my words and his case, so he will understand what is just, and his heart will be glad. Examples of the laws. Many of the laws describe exactly what a worker should earn. For example, one law states that a sailor should be paid 6 rations of grain per year. Some laws were very harsh, and the penalty severe. If a son should strike his father, his hand shall be cut off. If a man put out the eye of another man, his eye shall be put out. If any man should strike a man of higher rank, he shall receive 60 blows with an ox whip. If a builder builds a house for someone and that house collapses, killing them, then the builder shall be put to death. What makes the code important? The code itself tells archaeologists a lot about the lives of people of Babylon. It also contains some important ideals, like having people provide evidence of a crime, innocent until proven guilty, and protection for the weak. Interesting facts about the Code of Hammurabi. A. Shamash, who is featured at the top of the Dorite stele, was the Babylonian god of law, justice, and salvation. The Dorite stele is also called Dorite because it is made from the type of black rock called Dorite. Archaeologists in the ancient city of Susa originally found the Dorite stele. Today it can be found in the Louvre Museum in Paris, France. The Code of Hammurabi is one of the oldest and longest deciphered writings in existence. The code was written using cuneiform script and the Akkadian language. Question 44. What was the Code of Hammurabi? A. A way of coding secret messages. B. A written set of laws. Or D. A means of communicating using drums. Question 45. Who was Hammurabi? A Babylonian judge, B, the Babylonian god of justice, or D, the first king of the Babylonian Empire. Question 46. Around how many laws were included in the code? B, 112, C, 122, or D, 282. Question 47. On what famous object was the code inscribed? A, the Dorite stele, C, the Babylonian ziggurat, or D, hanging gardens. Question 48. Hammurabi's code was divided into grouping. Which of the following is not one of the groups? A, legal procedures, B, household laws, or D, mythology. Question 49. The following quote from the prologue of Hammurabi's Code demonstrates what? Let the oppressed man come and stand before my image as king of righteousness. Let him understand my words in his case, so he will understand what is just, and his heart will be glad. A, that all men should be treated equally. B, that Hammurabi desires justice for all. Or C, that Hammurabi is a god amongst men. And final question, question 50. Which of the following examples demonstrates the harshness of Hammurabi's laws? A, if a son should strike his father, his hands shall be cut off. B, if a man puts out the eye of another man, his eye shall be put out. D, if a builder builds a house for someone and that house collapses, killing them, then the builder shall be put to death. Or E, all of the above. Please turn your completed Scantron sheet and your test packet in. Thank you.